Will Solana surpass Ethereum in market cap? The Solana maxis say, oh, it is certainly going to happen in 2024. But the ETH maxis say, wish harder, dream bigger. It's never going to happen. What do you think is going to happen, Chad? We're going to break that down. We're going to look at some charts, and we got some bold predictions for 2024. Time to discover crypto.
Capital flight is coming to the United States. The dollar is going to zero.
And that's what makes Bitcoin so special. You have to have gone through a couple cycles to understand.
Once the price is able to clear this level, the breakout is on its way.
This is your indication to jump in now.
All right, a Merry Christmas for people right there on the international date timeline. Kelly, did you have a wonderful holiday?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I rested a bit. I ended up playing guitar on the Friday stream. Somebody tipped me to do it, and I ended up playing for like an hour. But then this weekend, just relaxing, out of the charts. I did make 2 trades, very quick in and out, but I'm happy. I'm back. I'm refreshed here with all of you right now. So
there's nothing like an acoustic jingle bells that really puts you in the mood. And then we have TJ. He's a new father. First Christmas with the baby. How was Christmas with the baby, TJ?
Oh, it was great. We had a really good time. Yeah, I had the whole crew, got to hang out with some family. You know, the baby didn't know what was going on. So, hey, we had a good time.
No. So you got to dress up as Santa, then scare the baby, get in its face with a big white beard. All right, everybody, we're going to talk about Solana flipping Ethereum. What is that going to look like? Can it happen? Will it happen? Let us know down in the comments. Hey, is it possible, Kelly? First, is it possible?
I mean, this market is so new. I think anything's possible. But when we look at the numbers, a huge portion of the entire crypto ecosystem is built on top of Ethereum. So we have to take that into account. So I think it's going to be a tall mountain to climb for that to happen. But we just got to stay tuned for 2024 and see where the VCs put their money and where retail comes in.
All right. It's Boxing Day in England. So, shout out to our UK brethren. Robert says Solana flipping Ethereum. It is not going to happen like DZ growing his hair. I mean, come on, man. What happened to the Christmas cheer, man? All right. Well, let's look at the market watch real quick, and then we'll break down the Solana. All right. So we have CoinGecko up, and Bitcoin is down about 1%, everybody. But Ethereum down even more, 1.5%. Solana up 2.8%, but folks, not even that long ago, it was up 12%, 10% on the 24-hour there, blasting past $100 and now coming in at $114. I'm sure Kelly's going to have something for us on the charts here. On the 7-day, you can just see Solana, $70. Oh, you better sell at 80. You see a little bit of a pullback. Oh, you better sell at 100. And then you had a trader shorting right here. Oh, I'm the smartest trader in the world. Wait, whoa, almost getting liquidated. I knew I was smart. And then they got liquidated, folks. Blasting past 100, blasting past 110, and even going past 120 briefly there. So Solana just melting faces, everybody. Cardano, BNB, though, now stealing the thunder, up almost 12%. Let's see, XRP down slightly. Cardano flat. Let's just see what's really, really moving, though. Pancake Swap and Say is still doing great.
Say what?
Osmo, Say what? It is moving. It is now 71. You see this star? This is because it was one of our 10K portfolio coins, folks. Everybody, I was telling you about this coin about a month and a half ago. Maybe jumped in on right there before the pump. Osmo is pumping as well. Now, TJ.
Yes.
You like Osmo.
I
do. You like the movie Osmosis Jones. What about this project, though, excites you?
It's just another one in the Atom ecosystem with Cosmos, so watching Cosmos and, Injective Osmo is 2 of those stronger ones in there. It's been ones I've been watching for a while. We were actually just talking in the chat the other day about adding more of this to our bag. I think we're going to continue to see that ecosystem grow and rise as time goes on. So just really strong tech. The UI for this layer 1 and a lot of these projects still not the greatest. It's kind of clunky. It's a little technical and complicated, but as it gets smoother and smoother, I just see it continuing to work really well. Far and away, it's basically anything you're trading within that ecosystem is paired with Osmo. So if you're trading within that ecosystem, as it continues to grow, you'll see Osmo get more demand. So just one I like to watch. One again, I think we'll continue to do well over this next bull run. Yeah, one we're looking
It
to
reminds
add
me
more
of two projects that I really like. You need this asset to get the other assets within the ecosystem. That riskier DeFi play, that very small cap gaming play. Reminds me of B&B, which we're seeing a pump right now.
There you go.
And Beam. It kind of reminds me of Beam. There's a lot of the Avalanche gaming ecosystem plays and the Avalanche DeFi plays. You need Beam to transact with it. I might mess around with Beam in the next 24 or 48 hours. Morel said, very funny Grinch compilations. That might be worth showing on the stream tomorrow. So, we'll let them hit the social media. A good Grinch video is always fun. Right, Kelly? Where they get the kids, we teach them lessons of capitalism. I think, and inflation.
Yeah, I saw a couple good ones, but you got to be hard of spirit to do that to a kid. I think.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let me do my impression of Uncle Sam. This is mine now, and then you just run away. So yeah, they'll be. We'll have to find some of those as well. All right, we also got some big losers. Optimism has fallen down. Helium is running out of gas. Hey, ha ha ha. Already also down about 7%, and Celestia down about 7%. Might try to get more Celestia. I think I got in around 11, 12 bucks. 13 doesn't look that bad. And Rune is looking like it might be on sale slightly for the day, but it's still up for the week if we hit the 7-day. Pulling back from, come on, CoinGecko, pulling back from 625. But Rune, we're also pretty bullish on the Rune ecosystem. So a lot of more people, as we see more and more, I hate to say it, sanctions on Tornado Cash. More and more actors will use Rune as a escape of, or just a tool of privacy, and a tool of just being anonymous. But anything, you know what? I think it's time for us to talk Solana here, Kelly.
Let's do it.
All right. Have you been trading any Solana? And pretty soon after this, we'll look at the charts. Do you have any juicy Solana charts 5-10 minutes from now?
We could definitely look at it. I got a good comparison with Solana and Ethereum, which I think will fit well with what we're discussing today. But Solana has been doing a lot of, it's been gaining a lot of ground, I think, on the back of how much FUD was within the Solana ecosystem, with this idea that it was so entwined with FTX and all that sort of stuff. So as that sort of FUDness has kind of shaken off a bit, I think it is a great chain. And it's kind of an irrelevant argument, I think, that even sometimes people ask if this can flip that, or they're all going to run at their own pace and be depending on what's happening within their community, as well as the deliverables on the things that they say that they're going to basically expand in their ecosystem. So I'm curious what your thoughts on Solana are. Do you think that it's getting a little overheated just from feel, or do you think
Solana doesn't listen to my feelings? Shin asked a really good question here. Doesn't Solana have frequent outages? Yeah, it had, I think, 14 in 1 year, but almost every single day there's an outage, it'd be a green candle. And it'd be a green candle for the whole week. And you say, okay, so the chain's down, and maybe it only went down 10 minutes, maybe it went down an hour. You would expect normally, this is going to crash the price, crater, nuke it. It's almost like a DeFi hack. But then Solana would continue to pump. And so Solana just always defied my expectations. I remember buying at $40 previous run up. Oh, this is the dumbest move, but I just had to have Solana NFTs. And then my, Solana ended up jumping to $100 and later $200. So I knew Solana was going to go down. I know it's going down. I just want that cool picture of a teddy bear NFT. And then, ends up 5xing there. But let's talk about Solana here. We got a lot of traders getting liquidated amid the crypto flash crash, $170 million worth. So a lot of people out there, just trying to long Solana, bet in the wrong direction, and then the flash crash event rattled the crypto sphere, wrecking everyone, wrecking all the traders. You said you got in a couple trades over the weekend, Kelly. You got in and out real quick. Did you long or short?
Well, I played it both directions because it was very quick scalps. I saw Quant was setting up. I use something that we use called the stoplight action protocol, where I'm looking at different signals between the stochastics, the RSI, and what's happening with the actual candles. And it just looked like it was about to rip. So I jumped in, got a 66% gain on the upside, and then I saw that it was setting up for a quick reversal. So that was probably a 4-minute trade. And then I got in.
Love it. And
then I saw it moving the other direction. So I got it. I took a short much quicker than that 66%. And it was only about 33% gain. but I got out quicker because it was an uptrend. So even though I played it to the downside, I saw an opportunity to take that scalp. But because the trend, remember, the trend is your friend. The trend was to the upside. I knew that was going to be a very quick move to the downside. So I got in, got out, took the profits and ran.
So you said much shorter than the 4-minute trade. So we're talking like a 12-second trade here. What we got going on?
Oh, it's probably about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. TJ, what do you think about that? You like the 90-second trades?
Yeah, I like the quick trades. I mean, it's kind of fun on playing. We've been messing with Blofin a lot on leverage. You get in something real quick, you watch it run up, and then close that trade and profit. You know, those are some of the best ones because then you don't have to sit there and babysit it and get obsessed over it for the next several hours.
I did a dot trade over the weekend. I haven't checked because I did a tight. I know it hit. Yeah. Take profit or a stop loss.
Nice.
You know, maybe I'll reveal live.
I actually like that. Dot's a sneaky one right now. I'd be keeping an eye on over the next few weeks. I know there's some upgrades and some new developments coming out. They're getting some marketing together. So Dot did start to move. It's one of those layer ones that hasn't really popped off like some of the other ones just yet. So I'd keep an eye on that one. But I did want to come back before we go too far off of this subject with Solana, Flip, and ETH. I mean, that's a big statement to make. I mean, a lot of people talking about it on X and stuff right now. Obviously, it's easy to talk about when Solana moves. You show how quickly you can add a couple billion. However, I mean, you're talking probably a 4 to 5x, or 5-ish plus, somewhere, 5.2-ish x to get from 48 billion to 270 billion where Solana or where Ethereum is. Ethereum also hasn't really moved. It's moved some, but not dramatically compared to some of the other ones. So I think it's a pretty tall order to even consider Solana flipping Ethereum, especially if we think Ethereum's going to be getting an ETF. We don't know if Solana will. So it's a big statement. I think Kelly made it a good point. It's not necessarily, it's not really all that relevant, where they rank too much. I do think Solana can close the gap, but I would be shocked to see Solana pass Ethereum this cycle. Not necessarily for any technical reasons, like the uptime. Yeah, sure, that matters. I think it matters a lot more on Ethereum and DeFi, based things versus Solana. I do think Solana has good UI and will continue to grow. They have easy to use applications. But again, guys, there's a lot of hype around this stuff, and it's very easy to get excited about the hype before you start to see.
There's one scenario I can maybe see. All right, so Solana has a lot of token unlocks, whereas Ethereum, it's ultrasound money and slightly deflationary depending on the period of time here. Solana, imagine if you will, we start getting a closer disparity in market caps, and imagine if you will, a VC or just a batch of VCs gets a large token unlock where the supply of Solana has a sudden jump, where, the price isn't going to change, but all of a sudden you unlock 100 million tokens. I'm just throwing out a number here. Then the market cap might increase before that has time to hit the market with the selling pressure. And so, if you had a gigaprint of 1 billion tokens created out of thin air, aka vesting schedule, cliff unlock, maybe then you could see a nice spike in market cap. But even then, I don't see it. Dot, layer 0. We see that. I'm sorry.
Well, the other thing to consider to TJ's point is it's also thinking like Solana is just going to move and Ethereum's not going to have any movement either. In order for it to, we have to consider that Ethereum is going to have similar chart dynamics of any asset that's out there, and it's going to see some growth. If you pull up this chart, TJ, I have these two side by side with Ethereum and Solana, and specifically, if we're looking at CoinGecko, $270 million or billion dollar market cap, whereas Solana is at 50 billion. So let's call it about was that 5 to 7x, depending on right. And so if we're looking at just the actual chart formations on these on TradingView, let's just pontificate and say it's going to go to the 3.618 extension for Ethereum. That's a 5, basically 5.7, 5.8x from here, right? Now, if we're looking at Solana, for it to go to the same 3.618, which this is just arbitrary, that would be only a 7.3x. So it's not that much of a huge difference. Yes, Solana may gain some traction in terms of closing that gap, but it would only happen if there was something catastrophic, I think, to Ethereum that it just did not perform in this bull run.
Yeah, it would take a catastrophic event. I would agree. And even then, like we've seen, well, Solana, the chain shut down. Many people would say, oh, if my favorite chain were to just shut down and stop, having any transactions, that would be a black swan event. I would expect the price to fall 50% in a day. And then Solana did that and pumps 5%. And so, who even knows what's going to happen? In a bullish environment, bad news sometimes is ignored, though. You got to be careful about that as well.
Absolutely. And again, this is not to say that I don't think Solana is going to perform well. I think it's going to probably outperform Ethereum. I think that's something that we can agree on. I think all likelihood points to Solana more likely outperforming Ethereum. That's also due to the fact that it has a smaller market cap. So it takes less monetary energy to move the price on Solana. But will it actually overtake the market cap of Ethereum? I don't think it would happen this cycle. If it were to happen, it'd be, I think, a lot longer down the road. But everything's going to be moving in this bull market. So pick those assets you want in your portfolio, figure out how you want to organize your portfolio, and don't jump between moving trains with your entire portfolio. Because sometimes you guys, everybody here, we've all seen Chainlink. Everybody was so pissed at Chainlink for what was it, like 600 and
Come on,
days.
do something.
Didn't do anything. And then it front ran the entire market and exploded out of that huge range that it was in. So sometimes things just take some time. Sometimes capital flow favors one area over another, but things will move if they do have value and there's a community built around
here's
them.
a big prediction here. Mark White says that Near is going to flip Solana. It's Near protocol.
Ooh.
So I mean, that'd be big. I don't know if that's going to happen. We do like Near protocol a lot here on the channel. I do think, we did a video on that, a couple weeks ago. If you guys check that out, Near protocol, it is one that is due to move. It moved a little bit in the last week or so, but I could see it climbing up the ranks very well. Strong project there, really good tech. So flipping Solana is a tall order these days, but I could see Near really closing the gap.
Hey,
for sure.
I interviewed Didi Taihutu, the Bitcoin family guy, the guy that's been in, sold everything back in 2013. When I interviewed him, it must have been in August. I asked him for any particular projects he's looking at this next bull market, and his number one project he was looking at was Near.
Near. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do like Near. There's a lot of L1s that are trying to take Solana's spot. You got Near, you got ICP. The list goes on and on. Then you got older coins saying, no, we're going to do it. What do you think is going to be the top L1? I will say this, Solana in the past 12 months, I'm doing some research for a video. I think at this point it's 11x. And there's a lot of strong L1s that have only done a 2 or a 3x. Is Solana running out of steam when it comes to multiples? There's a lot of people saying, it's hitting the top part of the Elliott wave. It's like hit wave 5. I'm not much of an Elliott wave guy, but maybe you could.
I will say there was a stat that came out over the weekend. I will say this: if you're a big Ethereum bag holder, it does feel like it's taking forever for Ethereum to make substantial moves. And there was a stat I think that it said if you held Solana for the last 30 days, it's outperformed holding Ethereum for all of 2023.
Wow.
Which is just brutal to think about. But, patience pays off in this space, obviously. So that's one thing I will recommend. Don't jump from bag. Don't chase the pumpers because if you're changing your position too often, hey, this is pumping, I want to get some of that. And then you sell, Ethereum and jump in Solana right now. And then, of course, then Ethereum moves and then you try to run back. And then, DOT's moving. I'm going to move to DOT. Like that's how you get yourself in trouble. So you have to have conviction with your analysis and with your picks. Stick with what you have, build your positions. And this is where I think it's important to have a trading bag where you are moving in and out of stuff and a long-term hold kind of portfolio where it's like, look, I'm committed to building a handful of L1s. I'm going to hold some Ethereum, some Solana, some BNB, some Cardano, some Avalanche, and some DOT. And then when any one of them are moving, I'm getting some gains, but don't try to move 50% of your portfolio in and out of all of those things.
Yes, careful jumping between the moving trains, unless you're Drew. And then if you're Drew, you loaded up everything on Bitcoin and then Bitcoin pumps. And you're like, well, let me sell my Bitcoin for Chainlink. And then Chainlink pumps. And, so shout out to Drew and the basement. They've been really getting some good calls lately.
Yeah, crushing it.
All right. Speaking about crushing it, look at Solana's trading volume, crushing Bitcoin and Ethereum. And not only that, combined, it's more than Bitcoin and it's more than Ethereum. Combined is more trading volume. And here we can see Bybit really leading the way, Upbit also leading the way. The light blue is Solana, then the orange is Bitcoin. And it's kind of hard to see, but on the right side, you see Solana growing more and more. So you see that light blue just growing and growing, baby. So more and more people having fun trading Solana. maybe that is part of the price movement we've been seeing lately as well. We also got a Solana trader here, 2,570x.
Dang, son.
Not percentage, X, with just 30 Solana. What did he do? He bought, he followed Drew. No, it was Solana meme tokens, everybody. So it looks like,
Yeah, those
and
are
Solana spelled backwards.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. So you know what? I'm not even going to try. We just like to call that one Solana spelled backwards.
I think it's pronounced Caroline.
Hey, ew, that was good. That was good. All right. Shout out to all Polycule members.
Mhm.
All right. The trader's profit. All right. So what was that in fiat? $5.7 million. How long? Less than a week, everybody. For that 6th day of Christmas, he made $5.7 million with just $2,000 worth of Solana. Folks, this could be you. This could be you. All you got to do is hit the like button and you will have this.
Hey, Frank, how'd you
No.
pull in that $5 million? Well, I was trading this thing called Anal OS.
Meanwhile, he's like at Christmas, like, it's real. It's real. I'm like, okay, tell us how you're a millionaire again. Anal OS, I swear to God, I could cash out. Sure. You guys don't understand it. And he like storms and slams the door.
There was a good meme I saw over the weekend that had one of those when it was like the girl trying to explain to her dad what the boyfriend does. He's like, no, he's a Solana meme coin trader, daddy. Like he really does have a real job.
Yeah. He can buy this whole house and every one of you. So congrats. Made a lot of money just off $2,000. We love seeing it, and that's why we like meme tokens, and that's why there will be a huge retail push in 2024, 2025. More and more stories are going to happen like this, and if you want this story to happen to you, you got to be engaged. You got to be plugged in. He wasn't just casually, trading meme coins. I'm sure he was watching these charts, looking at SolScan. That is like Etherscan for Solana, not anything weird at the Vatican. And you know what? They end up making some really, really great gains out there. So we love seeing it. Also, another meme trader, 3,800x gains. What about you? What are you doing? You know who did great? BJ. And folks, if you want to hear about our DGen picks, go to the basement. Maybe we can share a link. The basement is where it gets truly unhinged, and that's where you're going to see the really, really deep calls there. Can Solana flip it? We kind of cover that. What do you think, folks? Let's talk a little charts, though, man. I mean, anything else you want to share, or is that pretty much?
I have some I wanted to share. Shout out to last week. We didn't do our Blofin contest announcement, so wanted to shout that out. Cryptophonics. Cryptophonics worked for me. Did it work for you? He got a nearly 80% trade here that he did. And in order, if you all want to participate in this, is a $500 giveaway. Essentially, all you need to do is do a trade. Sign up through our link on Blofin, which is below the description area, down here. And what you can do is after you take a trade, is go on there and basically share the P&L thing here and hashtag discover crypto. And every week we're going to try and do it every Friday. Things just got a little away from us this last week because of the holidays, but shout out to Cryptophonics, $500 your way. I sent you a private.
Can we share my screen real quick? I'm actually almost nervous right now. I'm almost going to start sweating. All right. I just got my email. I got the code. I'm hitting futures. I'm going to hit past orders. This guys, again, I'm doing small orders here, everybody. Green or red? Green. Okay, look at that. Hey, I made a sandwich, everybody. I didn't know how that was going to play. I didn't check. The reason I wasn't really sweating it was a small trade.
Yeah.
But shout out to Blofin. No, we got the link below.
Exactly, yeah. To Kelly's
that
point,
would have been embarrassing.
Blofin, our partner, they're paying out $500 every single Friday to the top trader with the best P&L. So if you guys share those P&Ls, hey, it could be you every single week if you're a really good trader. So keep that up. You do have to be part of our affiliate, so join the Discord. That's where a lot of the trading is going on. That's where you'll get help with your trades and things like that as well. A lot of professional traders in there. Obviously, Kelly, Tim, a lot of our team is in there, but John Dalton is a really good one.
Dropping fire every day.
He's dropping fire in there all the time. So make sure you guys check that out. The Discover Crypto or BitLab Discord is where that is. And yeah, $500 a week. That's one of the best rewards you can get. And they'll deposit it directly into your account. And hey, it's free trading money. So there you go.
So just share that P&L and put hashtag discover crypto. But what are the charts looking like today? Shout out again to Cryptophonics. Thanks for participating there. Okay, this is what it's looking like. Nothing has changed. Okay, all we've done is we're in a range. We're sideways in a range here. We've got this area directly above us, the previous highs, which we've tapped now a couple times here. There's a giant order block here that is printed here from the BitLab trading stack, the BitLab volume here. And we're getting rejected coming down to this level. The levels I'm watching are these three levels that you see, 44.5, which is above us. That's not the direction we're headed currently. We're looking like we're going to come down and test the lower bound of this. Almost, I won't call it a bull flag because it's the flag portion's longer than the pole is. So you know what that's all about. So here we got to just make sure that when the price comes down to this level, we want to see what's going on with the strength, the RSI, the stochastics, and that'll tell us a story. Now, we are coming into the end of the year. We're 4 days away, 4 or 5 days away from the end of the year. It's going to be interesting. I'm actually curious your thoughts, TJ and DZ, both. Typically, depending on where we're at in the market cycle, whether it be bull or bear, especially at the end of the year, there may be some good reason to look for potential tax harvesting out there.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's going to be truncated or sort of limited this year because there's so much bullish hope around all these spot ETFs that could very likely come right at the beginning of the year? And we're also most people are in profit right now. Do you think we need to be watching out for some tax harvesting?
You know, my initial thought is, tax harvesting is most advantageous when you're taking a loss and then you can kind of lower your tax hit. And so I feel like a lot of people are going to be in the green. So we won't see any tax harvesting, to kind of game the system and pay less taxes. And then oftentimes you see tax harvesting on the very strong upside, because then you could take some profit first in, last out, or last in, first out. I will say this. I think it'll be somewhat muted in flat years and slightly elevated years, and then high spike years, like the really big green candle 4-year cycle years, and the really big red candle. That's where you're going to see most tax harvesting. I'll say it's reduced compared to 21. That's my prediction here.
Yeah,
and 22.
Yeah, I would say a lot of that stuff gets overemphasized towards the end of the year. It definitely matters with big positions on the stock market and stuff like that. It'll probably matter, to DZ's point, next year if people are massively in profit. I don't know how much of that actually happens on open order books on exchanges and stuff like that versus OTC. You're talking probably most likely see it by big whales. But we'll see it. I will say this. We do have a tax partner, decrypted.tax. If you guys want to get 25% off, use our link that's in the description there. And they can help you with all of your major tax questions. So yeah, talk to them about it.
No, absolutely. Now, before we go, I just wanted to point out, we're looking here on the 4 hour. If we look at the monthly, things are looking pretty darn good. Things are looking good. So don't get so caught in the 1 hour chart, the 15-minute chart, all these sorts of things. This is looking pretty darn healthy. And so when we come down looking at the daily, this is looking a little concerning. But remember, we've been looking at this for the last couple months, and we've got a lot of levels. We've got a lot of levels already outlined on the chart. The CME gap, most important, I think, directly below us. If we do lose this level, watch for that 39.5 area. And in all honesty, I think a lot of people, and I'm still very bullish, but I think a lot of people are still out there waiting for that pre-halving pullback. And depending on what happens with all these different news stories, the December 29th deadline for a lot of the amendments for the spot ETFs, if things kind of get gummed up or changed or dates get denied or all these, this could really change the speculation around Bitcoin, which is really what's holding the price where it's at right now, in hope of this, the bullishness that comes from the halving, in conjunction also with all these Bitcoin spot ETFs. So these are the levels I'm watching right now. It's currently leaning a little bit like it's wanting to test a little bit lower. So I'd be watching this 41.3. That's what I'm seeing right now. I'm not incredibly moved one way or the other right now. I think we're a bit in a range area, chopping people out that don't have strategy.
Ooh, I like that. Chopping the people out that don't have a strategy. You got to have a strategy, and sometimes that strategy might be leave in 90 seconds. And then you know what? That ends up being a good strategy. There's also a strategy of the whales. And the whales, you want to swim with the whales. You don't want to get beached, right? Well, Bitcoin whales are selling 50,000 Bitcoin. Well, what does that mean? $2.2 billion. Is the rally over, everybody? Are we going to finally see this pullback everyone's predicting? Well, it seems like it's cooling off finally on the back of the Bitcoin ETF potential rumors here. This has led to concerns that the rally might be over. And this is boosted by the recent action of the largest holders of Bitcoin here. Ali Martinez highlighted a report from Sentiment, which showed that Bitcoin whales sold around 50,000 Bitcoin just in the past 7 days. Many are speculating, why are the whales dumping their Bitcoin here? Well, it's mentioned that the outflows seen from these investment funds are more likely related to profit taking rather than a swing in sentiment. As such, one could assume that this is sentiment among the whales that made this recent sell-off here. It's also very plausible considering that sentiment recently reported that 89% of the total supply is in profit. Should we worry about the whales dumping, Kelly?
Well, I don't know if whales are going to be dumping right now because of where we're at in conjunction with the halving. I did look at, I don't have it, I'm not logged into Glassnode right now, but I did look at the exchange net flows, and they did flip back to where there's exchange flowing, there's Bitcoin flowing onto exchange, but it's such a small range. It's chopping around right around that zero line. It is more concerning the fact that the percentage of people in the market right now are in profit. We're at levels at both pre-halving times that we've seen in the 2016 and 2019 periods. When we hit the level we're at in percentage basis of people in profit, has seen a corrective pullback. So this is why right now, even though I'm bullish, I still think that if prices go down from here, I'm not mad at it. This is any downside price action that happens right now, pre-halving, with everything on the horizon. I am an absolute bull and looking at opportunities to add to my stack.
All right, add to the stack. Crazy that we're doing a show today. You know, it's crazy. Crypto doesn't sleep ever. Ask anyone who had the Bybit alarm or the night sweats, just so they could trade with China. Yeah, so we're not sleeping. We're not taking any breaks. In fact, I couldn't take a break from trading, and I open a trade, everybody, because I'm Deezy, and that's what I do. Open a long. I got a very, very tight stop loss, folks, and I'm 80 cents in the profit. So, hey, baby, we're printing money. Hey, it's up to 240. All right, I am tripling. And if I could triple every 10 seconds, I'll be a billionaire before too long. I don't think it's going to triple every 10 seconds.
But Deezy, I got to tell you something. This is not a brag. This is just a support of why strategy is important. I had this is about a year and a half ago. I'm looking at the charts over the course of a couple of weeks, and there's a trade setup I saw brewing. I would let the trade come to me. And throughout that, I was that guy. I went through the alerts. I set alerts on 3 or 4 different circumstances I wanted to hit. And of course, when did they hit? After I laid down in bed and my phone's ding, ding, ding.
Always.
Like, oh my God, my strategy's there. All the things are hit. And I'm laying in bed and I do the trade, laying in bed on my phone. I think I made $14,000 profit in about 6 minutes because the trade setup was there. Because I had the trade setup, I had a plan for what my entry was, what my exit was, what all the different considerations were going to be. And I was able to do it because I had a plan. So when you have a plan, you could take advantage of the market and stop letting the market take advantage of you.
Ooh, I like that. All right. Well, we have a pretty cool stat here. And I want to ask a question to chat afterwards. Over 3 million Bitcoins dormant for a decade as a signal of long-term investor confidence. Of the first, all right, so Bitcoin is about 13 years old. Of the first 3 years, there's millions of Bitcoin created. How many Bitcoin are lost forever? And then of the Bitcoin that are lost forever, what is represented here with the 3 million? So how many people mined Bitcoin 11 years ago and still have the seed phrase and can move it at any time that they want? They're just choosing not to. How much of this is just, oh yeah, I tried to buy some mushrooms on, Silk Road and I kind of lost the password. How much of that? So of the 3 million, would you say as high as 8? I would say as high as potentially 75% of that is just lost forever.
I would say so. And that's partially because it's easy to look back and do 2 things. One, look back and say, man, had I known about Bitcoin, then I'd be rich. Well, would you have had the awareness of the value that this was going to strike globally, and not only money, but culture? But then 2, there was no real, except for this people that were super, super aware of the tech, there was no real value proposition back then. It was all speculation. Mm-hmm. So people were buying 10,000 Bitcoin pizzas and they were doing this kind of bizarre things because they didn't understand it's hard to predict the impact Bitcoin would really have and believe in it back then when it was still at that point, let's be honest, it was a meme. It was a meme asset.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Jeremy, one of Deezy's buddies that's been working with us recently, was telling us a story about Magic tournaments back in the day. The first place prize was 3 large pizzas. The second place prize was 25 Bitcoin. And everybody was like, I don't know what this thing, like, it was basically worthless back then, and nobody, like, they'd rather have the pizzas because you could actually do something with it than this fake internet money. But to answer your question, I mean, we know Satoshi has $1 million in that wallet that's never been moved, but they estimate around 29-30% of Bitcoin has never been moved. That's considered lost forever. It's around 6 million BTC. So if you take that out of the supply, you take 6 million out of that 21 million, that's getting the supply is even more rare than most people realize.
So I got a question for you both. What do you think? Little thought experiment here. What do you think would happen if 1 or 2 Bitcoin was moved out of Satoshi's wallet?
Oh, bad stuff.
I've thought about that. What is that red candle going to look like? I've thought as high as 50%. I think it would take a little bit of time for the articles to hit and Fox Business News and MSNBC to talk about it. Then, so I think it would take days for the bleeding to stop. I could see a 50% retracement in a matter of days. I would say up to 50, maybe even more.
I'd say it matters a lot of where we are in the market when that happens. Like if it happened in a bull run, matters less than if it happens when things are already going down. Obviously, I think the odds of that are extremely low.
Yeah, me too.
And the more time that goes on, the more Bitcoin that gets out there, the higher the price gets, the less it will matter. But yeah, it would definitely send shockwaves into the ecosystem if anything out of that wallet ever moves.
And it would depend if he moved it to another wallet or to Binance. And you'd be like, oh my God, it really is over if it goes to Binance there.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, me neither. All right, let's talk a little ETF news, everybody. ETFs. SEC announces the deadline for the spot Bitcoin ETF updates. Everybody. And again, it's looking more and more likely that we're going to see January 10th as the eventual approval here, but set for the December 29th. So we're seeing a lot of closed door meetings. Grayscale, BlackRock, I think, is kind of leading the way with each about 5 or 6 meetings apiece. But now we're going to see more from ARK Invest, 21 Shares, and others as they just dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and make sure, they have everything for the legal framework that, the SEC is asking for here. Seems like the SEC is actually giving a little bit more clarity.
Much more, yeah. And
is it because BlackRock is asking the questions? It's one thing when you got bald Brian Armstrong, like, hey, man, or CTO Larson, have you seen the guy? They're like, hey, could you answer my question? Like, what do I do with this asset? That's one thing. They're like, ignore, delete email. Like, yeah, tell them we'll meet him at 3 p.m. And then it's like 4:58, like, yeah, we're sorry, the commissioner's going to have to reschedule today. And they're like, oh, they have to leave the office. Versus BlackRock, then you have Gary Gensler. Yeah, boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, how much do you guys think this may be tied in some respect to the fact that we're going to an election cycle year? And obviously there's data that's going through the political spectrum of how many people in the US are involved in crypto. So maybe this is something that it looks like they're taking some sort of steps for that. So they're kind of putting pressure on Gary Gensler to stop being such a jackass and actually make some meaningful moves.
I think it has more to do with DZ's first point, what he was just saying. Now that BlackRock is in the fold, they're giving the framework needed to get these things approved. And in order to feign fairness, they have to give everybody those same parameters. So getting all the details and the paperwork in and filed correctly. They're going to let all of them do it all at once. They're telling them this is the final deadline. I do think it's interesting. The big news kind of for today is Barry Silbert stepping down or removing himself out of the Grayscale situation. I think that does make it easier for them to get the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust approved. And they're really, it's kind of sad in a lot of ways. I mean, a lot of people have different opinions about CZ and SBF and Barry Silbert. I mean, he definitely over-leveraged DCG and got things very sideways in a lot of different ways. But they were also industry leaders and titans in this space for a long time. And you can very clearly see them all being pushed out of the way as BlackRock and the traditional finance system comes and gets involved with what's going on right now. And that's what's getting all these ETFs are going to get approved. Now, these guys have been trying to get ETFs approved for 10 plus years at this point. And all of a sudden, once BlackRock's involved, okay, now all the frameworks getting outlined, all of these different things, it seems very clear that they're going to get approved. And then boom, Barry, we don't care what you've done, how long you've been here. You've been trying to get Grayscale Trust approved for an ETF for a very long time, but we need you out of the picture before we're ever going to approve it. And I just think it shows not as much the election cycle, but the politics involved with big money. And I think it goes above government in a lot of different ways. You're talking about financial cartels that are, been around for a long time.
A financial cartel. BlackRock has met with the SEC no less than 5 times in the past month. Now, imagine for you just the scenario here. You're the SEC. You're the lackey that picks up the phone. BlackRock calls and says, I need to meet by lunch tomorrow. What do you think they say? Do you think they say yes? Do you think they say no? Well, we do know that they've had 5 or 6 meetings just in the past month. So I'm inclined to believe that when they say, hey, we're meeting at 2 p.m. tomorrow, they're like, you got it, sir. And they're there at 1:55 waiting. Versus, we have 13 applicants trying to, get this ETF or Bitcoin. What about number 10, 11, 12, the smaller players? They call up the SEC. Do you think that they're like, oh, yeah, you got it. You come in at 3 p.m. You got it. They're like, yeah, well, we have the deadline by the 29th. You can come in on the 28th, and then they come in on the 28th. Oh, well, you missed one thing. We're sorry. You're not going to be in line. So it's an image of fairness. And I think we'll see about 6, 7, 8 of them approved. There's going to be 5 players on the sidelines. They can't just only do BlackRock January 10th. There will be a handful of players. But speaking of Barry Silbert, we have it right here. Barry Silbert resigns from the Grayscale board of directors here. This just happened. And to me, this is just another straw on the camel's back that we will get a Bitcoin ETF January 10th. I'm 100% in agreement with you, TJ. I think this was a necessary step for Grayscale. So, I think we have a Barry Silbert video. We have a DCG video out that we did a long time ago, right?
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, we
kind of cover it. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about Barry Silbert, DCG, their involvement with Grayscale, and the crypto publication CoinDesk or Telegraph, they own one of those, right?
Coin.
I can't remember anymore. Yeah, CoinDesk. CoinDesk. They were trying to sell it. They were trying to sell CoinDesk. I don't know if they ever got a buyer. They own, Digital Currency Group owns all sorts of different things, but one of the ones that was making the most money was Grayscale. They're the ones who got sideways with Genesis. They owed almost $1 billion to Genesis in their earn program.
Yeah, the Winklevi are quite pissed.
Yes, yes. And we do have a super chat here from official IN7. Thoughts on Scale Network? Never heard of it before, but it seems to be doing well recently. Apparently is a popular game or chain for gaming projects. It is a gaming project. I don't know a ton about it other than it's a EVM that does focus on low gas fees. I don't know if you guys know much about it.
I haven't looked at it, but I will say this: the gaming ecosystem is really, really hot. I do think the play is going to be, not trying to figure out what is the one game that's going to melt all the faces there, but trying to get the infrastructure plays. I think, on that note, the thesis for Scale, the thesis for Beam, I like the thesis for all of these, even Avalanche on one level. If we check on the trade, man, I might just close this thing because, it's Christmas. I don't want to be worried about this trade. Or I guess I could go ahead and just move that stop loss guaranteed into profit, get it below that. You know what? Oh, God, I might close half. I think I'm going to close half and then just let the rest ride into profit as well.
That's sandwich money.
Hey, sandwich money right there, baby. All right, it's time for us to do some bold crypto predictions for 2024, everybody. This is a pretty cool article. So we're going to kind of cover, I started reading all these and then, I was like, I want to do them live here. All right, prediction here. Binance will lose the #1 position to like an OKX, Bybit, or Coinbase here. Binance losing the top spot. I'm going to say wrong. I think Binance will still have the top spot. In fact, they just did a Wall Street Journal dropped an article today on Yi He, CZ's baby mama. She has 3 of his kids currently running Binance. It's interesting. I don't see Binance losing. I don't know. Binance, will they still be #1? What do you think?
I think Coinbase is going to eat up a lot of the market share to Binance because of the custodianship that they're doing for most of the Bitcoin spot ETFs. But the retail, all the small retail accounts, when you have hundreds of millions of them, especially when we see global adoption about to hit that S curve of adoption and just explode. I think Binance will likely stay on top because of that. I
have an interesting twist to that one. I'm going to say it because if you look at it, if you go to the exchanges on CoinMarketCap, you can see, Coinbase, and they're talking spot, which I don't know if this includes spot and futures, but Coinbase sitting at about 2.1, Binance sitting at 16.5. So that's quite the gap, billion, quite the gap to close there. I do see Coinbase closing it dramatically in 2024, but not passing Binance. But I will say, I bet they pass by 2025. And part of that is because you can see Binance Fiat supported in EU, Great Britain, and plus 8 more, where Coinbase is just now starting to get out there with places like Singapore and all over the world. So I do think they will catch up from a regulatory standpoint, but they've been taking the slow path. But I think in 2025, they have a pretty good chance to pass them.
Yeah. All right. More predictions. Crypto Teacher, real quick. Any recommendations for smaller YouTube channels? Check out Around the Blockchain. We have fantastic guests on there. Some of these people only got like 5,000 subs, 10,000 subs. They're putting out phenomenal content. Matthew Snyder putting out, you just go back and check some of the last shows. We have links to all the guests there. So if you want to check out, maybe I'll pull up the last episode.
And,
share a
and
link.
check out Blockchain Basement as well, and check out BitLab Academy. We go live right after this show. We got there's a lot of great small. Tom Crown's also great. And,
yeah, we love Tom. We love Tom.
Miss Team Crypto. There's a lot of really
I
good ones
mentioned
out there.
Tom in the last couple videos.
Yeah, I'd say
put out
Sin
too.
City Crypto is another really good small channel. I was talking about Cryptocito. If you're really into the Cosmos Atom ecosystem, I would check that channel out. So yeah, there's a lot of really good. There's a lot of really good smaller channels out there. So yeah, check out all of those channels.
All right, prediction number 2, ETF will be approved and it'll be the most successful ETF launch of all time. I like this one as well, and I would say this is a pretty good chance. I think 1% is actually FUD. I think it'll get more than 1%. Dang, I'm just trying to highlight. Quit trying to link me there. Will it be the most successful ETF launch of all time, the Bitcoin ETF? I say yes, but I'm orange-pilled. So I know I am biased. It's like asking someone with the MAGA hat on, who do you think is going to be president? They might be a little bit biased, or someone that likes rubbing leg hair in a pool. They're going to be a little bit biased. I think it'll be the most successful ETF ever.
I think the best marketing campaign for any asset in the history of the world is the lack of good monetary policy in the U.S. and the way our government is mishandling things, and not only here but globally. And so with Bitcoin now being 14 years old, 14, 15, I can't even remember. 14, many years old. It's hit that threshold where people are ready for something different. And so I think because of that, and because of the fact that it's new, I think it's going to have a huge amount of people. By the way, so one of the people that we talked about, we use his stuff on here all the time, James Safart. I was on a Spaces with him the other day, and I sent him a message afterward. I'm trying to get him booked to come on here and talk a little bit about the ETFs.
Would love it. Would love it. Yeah, I've reached out a couple people as well. Yeah, we're trying to get some guests. I'm trying to get I think it was the Iagon team on, the Cardano. I gave you guys that pick about a month ago, and I think it's done about a 3x since then. So I want to talk to the team.
Crypto Tim, Super Chat says, any thoughts on Kuji, on Atom? I know Nick's the one that brought Kuji as Kujira, right?
Yeah, Kujira. I like it a lot.
Brought that to my attention, and I've been looking very heavily at that. I really like that project, so we'll have to do some more content on that.
Yeah, I like Kujira as well. That's the next one. After I accumulate osmosis, I'm looking at Kujira.
Okay. All right. We got another one here. More money will settle using stable coins than Visa. I swear to God, if it does it one more time. All right. I'm just going to let go. Yeah. You can't highlight on it.
Just don't click on it.
I can't help myself. It's like a trade. I just have to hit enter.
Yeah.
This is a fake stat here. Sending Tether wallet to wallet shouldn't count as, using a stable coin versus buying things at the store of Visa. So not really a real stat, but when that does happen, I don't know. I mean, I think Visa would have to use stable coins for this to happen.
I don't know. I think wallet to wallet still matters because it's another form of basically using that for remittance rather than another.
Sometimes just people transferring from one wallet to the other. You're right. Yeah. Sometimes it should be, but then sometimes it shouldn't. So how do you delineate that? All right. We got another prediction, and I had to pull up the market cap real quick. This one's a little bit wild here. Bonk to a $10 billion market cap. So you know what? All right. Well, I had to look it up. Where's it at? It's a $1 billion market cap. So it's bonk erasing another zero, doing another 10x here.
So I have to ask you something. Okay.
10 billion. I'll look where that's at.
I'm not a meme coin guy. I rarely dabble in that field, but
it's above Tron.
I'm willing to open my mind. What the hell is bonk and what does it do? Other than just being a meme?
Well, nothing really.
So
there you go.
It's literally just a meme.
Yeah. Isn't that enough sometimes? So what happens is if a meme becomes valuable enough, then you have large token holders who are like, you know what? I have Shiba Inu is probably the best example. I have $10 million of Shiba Inu. Why wouldn't I pay some developer $10,000 to develop some website that does some sort of thing? and then I could pump my 10 million 2%, netting $200,000. So you end up profiting $190,000 by developing in the ecosystem. And so, yeah, there's people developing in the ecosystem, but does that mean anything like it can compete with Ethereum, Chainlink, near Bitcoin? Probably not. And so that is my guess. You have people that, hey, I got $40 million worth of bonk. Why wouldn't I pay someone $100K to build something kind of cool?
Okay.
So that's my take there. But bonk doing a 10x and then essentially being where Doge is today. It'd be right here, right above Polkadot, below Dogecoin. So bonk hitting Dogecoin levels today, I would say that's a big fat no from me. So that one's a no. I'm going to go ahead and come in bearish on that one. Let's see. We got, all right, here's another one. Imagine a Bitcoin under 250. I swear to God. I don't know what's wrong with me, folks.
That's
Bitcoin
good.
to $250,000. What do you think, TJ, Kelly? $250,000 Bitcoin?
I mean, I think it's absolutely possible. I'm trying to find my mouse on here. I think it's absolutely possible. It's within the realm of what we're looking at. If we come here, let's go ahead, turn off all these things. Let's pull up the Fibonacci, come down here all the way, boom. Now, the $250,000 would be between the 3.618 and the 4.618 extension, which is essentially, this is roughly about where we go in previous cycles. Now, this cycle, I think, was a little bit truncated. We would have even gone higher had we not had the Chinese mining ban. I think 250 is an area that we can get to. However, I think we need to have all eyes on the on-chain metrics and stuff once we pass $100,000, because $100,000, I think there's going to be quite a bit more profit taking than people think. And so my target is actually somewhere in this right around the 180 to 220 sort of range. And I'm happy to have that blown out of the water, but I'd rather not have a $600,000 target and have it not even hit 110.
I just have a hard time imagining, at least especially for 2024. We'll see what it's like with the blow off top, but you got a market of traders at $175,000 Bitcoin. And it's just hard for me to imagine there's more people saying, I need to buy. There's going to be more of those people saying, I got to dump.
Well, the other question on that as well is, with market dominance, do you think Bitcoin keeps that market dominance as well? If you look at last cycle, what were your options mainly? Bitcoin, Ethereum. There were some other layer ones versus now Solana's pumping.
Yeah, there's a lot more options.
Well,
that's a good point too. Yeah, it's going to be hard for that
Avalanche,
dominance.
there's so many
The flip side of that, though, is at the same time, Bitcoin now has the institutional power pack on its back that's going to also be seeing a lot of capital flow into Bitcoin and not so much into many of the altcoins.
Johnny has a pretty good question here. If you had a small amount of money, would you put it in one coin? Johnny, I'm a degen. I would have to do at least two. I don't even care if it was $70, maybe $40. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in one coin. But I don't care, $100 or more, I'm probably going two coins. Yeah, at that point, I'm going two coins. All right, we'll do one final prediction here. Then we'll move forward. Ads will completely disappear from Twitter/X as it transitions to a subscription model. I don't know what is wrong with me, chat. X will unveil an integrated token, which on its own will be worth more than Elon's purchase of Twitter, $44 billion.
If that's not a security, I don't know what is.
That's pretty high, folks. That puts it above XRP. So that means the X coin would be worth more than XRP. I can't see it hitting $44 billion personally. I can see a token being released, though. What are y'all's thoughts on a token being released for the X platform?
I don't think that's going to happen unless something changes. He said it specifically. There will be no token specific. I think he's going to use a basket of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge. I can't imagine he's not going to include Doge because of all the rhetoric he's had around it. And I think there will be a small group of other ones that will hop in and out over time.
Hey, Kelly, what if the ETF doesn't get accepted and the ETF's really a basket that Elon creates?
Huh?
I mean, creating a weird world here. So ETF doesn't get set up, and then Elon does exactly what you're talking about. Where it's not a single coin, it's a basket of assets.
Yeah, I don't know. They came after Libra so hard, though. So, I mean, we'll see. We got a clapback here. We always like a good clapback, especially when the clapback's at Elizabeth Warren, who deserves a clapback more than anybody. Oh. Coinbase fired back at Elizabeth Warren. Accusations are simply wrong. Published a letter firing back at her claim that they hire Former legislators and law enforcement individuals in a revolving door meant to fight restrictions. They call the accusation not only unfounded, but a willful misrepresentation of our intentions and efforts. And they urge her not to drive crypto innovation offshore. I would advise her not to even drive. At this point, your brain is so broken, I wouldn't trust you to drive to your mailbox at the end of your driveway because you're probably going to run over and hit a curb.
She is the master of claps.
I wouldn't know. Was she in Woodstock or something? I mean, who knows what's going on back then?
Yeah.
Here we have, I have one more cop story here I thought was pretty interesting. Shout out. All right, we have an XRP story and a law enforcement regulation story, but it's not the regulation story that you're thinking here. Thoughts on Kimbo, second most volume meme on AVAX? I mean, I would go with number 1 meme on a chain that's like number 15, personally, but hey, man, it's probably going to outperform, and Kimbo Slice was pretty fun back in the day. Ripple executive Chris Larson, he donated $250,000 for police surveillance in San Francisco. This seemed like a future sci-fi movie where the citizen... Is this RoboCop? Because this is how you get a RoboCop.
I can't imagine why he would do that, especially considering the fear of what's happening that's going to come with CBDCs and the parallels people are drawing with XRP, with all this sort of stuff, and then he's going to fund surveillance. You know what I mean? It just seems like it goes against ethos, unless he's
So here's his ethos.
Unless he's buying favor.
Here's his ethos. When I walk to my car, I don't want to step in feces and get stabbed by a homeless person. That's his thesis. He lives in the town and he doesn't want to step in feces.
Yeah.
I don't. If he was donating to the NSA or the FBI, I'd flip the table. But I think this is just a failed city. They keep electing those DAs that don't prosecute crime. I think is the largest problem.
Isn't that their job?
That is their job, and also they fund drug usage, so people will like travel from across the country. So they're like importing
so they're like the
fentanyl
Reagans.
addicts.
I got you.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. XRP executive funding a police state. But it's just in San Francisco. It's not for the whole world. We have Robinhood revenue hitting its lowest in 3 years, but is expanding its crypto operations and more news. So I expect Robinhood to bounce back pretty strong. But kind of like BJ's point, there's more competition now. Like there's more competition to Bitcoin, more competition to Robinhood. It was like the only place to buy GameStop stock or short Bed Bath & Beyond or long it. So is there anything else that's exciting for that? I mean, is there an easier place to long GameStop stock? It might be the only player in town still, right?
I mean, especially with the retail that's on the fringes.
Yeah. Lunatic fringe. We have Tether issuing $1 billion on ETH network for inventory replenish. So we always like seeing a Tether print. And speaking of prints, I did close half that, and it closed out in profit. I put it like right around there. So
I got excited. I thought you said Prince.
Closed in profit. Oh my God. Oh no. I got wicked out in my take profit, and then it kept going to new highs. That's how it goes. Man, you know what? I should know. A profit's a profit. You can't go broke taking profits, but I could have been more degen, and I'd still be in that trade right now, and I'd be riding it high. ETH hodler set new record, over 70% of supply dormant since 1 year. This is just going to grow and grow and grow. We'll do some ADA smart contract stuff, and then we'll do some Q&A. Go ahead and get your Q&As in the system here. Mana, not Mantle. We're going to look at Mana as well. So I'm doing some research on Mana. It's layer 2 blockchain with some airdrop opportunities. If you want some airdrops, keep an eye out on Mana. I might put out a video pretty soon. I'm still working on this 2024 video. Cardano added 10,000 smart contracts in 2023. BJ, thoughts?
There's 10,000? I mean, I'm a absolute ADA maxi. I don't know what those 10,000 contracts are.
That's what I was going to ask.
I'm an ADA maxi. I'd be interested in what those are.
Like, is it like one NFT collection with 10,000 different NFTs?
No,
or is it
each one would count as one
individual? Okay.
Yeah, because I'd be interested. So Dex Hunter is one that I'm very bullish on, which is an aggregator on Cardano, which I feel like is kind of a sleeping giant at the moment. I do not remember the supply. If you end up going to taptools.io, you could look at it. But I know that they've set up a lot of stop loss stuff, a lot of limit buy, sell orders, and then are setting up a bridging for BTC and potentially ETH. So I'm assuming, there's a stack of smart contracts right there.
The Iagon thing is pretty lucrative too.
Yeah.
I was looking at that. It's like, hey, let me borrow 1,000 Cardano and you can hold all my snake token. And if I don't pay you, you get to keep my snake. But they're giving you more than what it's an interesting concept there. And then you get like 4%, or it tells you just clearly, yeah, you'll get 142 Cardano if you do this. And you're like,
I
love their UI.
If you pull up, I don't know if you have something better to do, but CardanoCube.io, and then we can actually like look at a lot of the things that are out there.
Yeah, Kelly, pull that up real quick. Cardano what IO?
CardanoCube.io.
So this is a good breakdown of what the 10,000 smart contracts could be. I think you brought up a good point. There could be a protocol that has 400 smart contracts because they have 200 trading pairs and there's like a buy and a sell or something. But here it's 1,300 projects representing 10,000 smart contracts. And of those, 153 have been launched.
Yeah, and if Kelly scrolls, so this is a great place to look. Like, obviously, I don't know specifically where things are, but this is a great way to look at the ecosystem, see what the projects are, and they actually break everything down into, lending, borrowing, meme coin, social things, and everything else. So.
Yeah, Cardano's not dead, y'all. Like, people like to crap on it because they'll find 10 Solidity devs, and they all know Solidity, and they don't know anyone that knows Cardano, Plutus. But then you go to a Plutus, convention, they know 14 Plutus devs, but only 2 Solidity devs.
But
so I think it's
needed. So like the Marlowe playground is a really cool thing where it's basically the way you teach children.
Marlowe Playground, is that in The Wire where Marlowe Stanfield sold crack?
No, it's their cousin.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just watched The Wire, so I was thinking of Marlowe Stanfield.
But nonetheless, it's basically like puzzle pieces, and you can build code that way. So when people say Plutus is difficult, I'm not saying they're incorrect, but there are other options.
The argument I heard, kind of dispelling, Plutus is too difficult. Like, well, if you're trying to secure the globe's financial network, it needs to be. I was like, that makes sense. All right, we have get your Q&As in. Cube like Polycube. Yes, exactly like that. Lunatic Fringe is a song the Red Rider Group sings, a saying in the song as Lunatic Friends. Lunatic Fringe! I thought that was... I don't know who I thought that was. The Cars, actually. Yuga Labs Metaverse projects dominated top 10 digital land NFT sales for 2023. That's going to continue. Keep an eye out on Yuga. Sotheby's, NFTs are dead. Sotheby's had a record year, one of the most exciting years of all time. So, people are liars. And Minecraft gives green light to WorldCoin integration. So Minecraft kicked out NFT worlds in 2021, kicked out all the builders that were trying to make Minecraft better, trying to put money in your hands for literally playing a kid's game.
You remember Uplift?
And they kicked them all out.
Remember on Wax, Uplift?
Yes, I do remember that.
These, like land keys, and they were building, and it was awesome, and then it disappeared.
But there's
Minecraft
something
said no.
Sam Altman said his second year of Y Combinator presidency. He said something, you can bend people to your will a surprisingly high number of time, or a high percentage of the time. I think this is Sam Altman bending Minecraft to his will. And then it makes me think like, fuck, man, that Sam Altman guy, he just like, I hate everything WorldCoin stands for. But maybe I don't know, man. Maybe there's opportunity with that coin. That's all I'm going to say. I'll keep an eye out on it. All right. Could you scroll the chat there? We could see a thing. You guys always talk about the next cycle will be smaller than the last. As your thoughts changed about this? No, percentage gains will shrink. Market will get bigger and bigger.
I do think that this next bull cycle has probably the last opportunity to potentially outshine the gains from the previous cycle for 2 reasons. One, we have all these spot ETFs on the horizon, as well as the FASB rules, the fair value accounting rule, where institutions will be able to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets in a more meaningful way without being persecuted because it went down one day the entire time they're holding it. And I think last cycle was truncated a little bit by the Bitcoin mining ban in China. So I think those two powers combined, I think we do have an opportunity as the adoption is about to skyrocket. And if that happens in conjunction with the institutions, with the spot ETF and the halving coming into this next cycle, I think we can have probably the last opportunity to outgrow the previous cycle. But it's going to be the law of diminishing returns, I think, after that. But we're still going to be able to utilize the volatility in smaller market cap coins, altcoins, meme coins and stuff like that, which is why it's always good to have a wide range of exposure to take advantage of those moves.
All right. Someone said Cardano price prediction. I'll give you a very lazy TA here. A lot of people are going to do this. And I'm not saying, oh, you should take this to the bank. Kelly, will a lot of people draw this line?
A lot of people will draw
a
that
lot
line.
of people are going to draw this line. And so if we do predict, Cardano is a little bit weird. It doesn't pump the traditional times that you expect Bitcoin to pump. Cardano topped out September of 21, which doesn't really make much sense when you think about Bitcoin high in April/November. Then, most things pump November, December, or October. It kind of did its own thing. Yeah, September 6th right here, which is weird. I know it's weird. All right, we got to move it down just a little bit. And so I'm predicting, let's just say September 25, right? September 25. And if we go to September 25, wow, I actually drew it to the perfect spot. Unplanned right there. That's a $8.07. This right here, $8.15 Cardano.
That's right.
I think we'll go a little higher.
That's
than that,
right at the 2.618 as well.
That's weird.
Right.
That's weird how those things play out sometimes.
Yeah, the 2.618 is 8.01. 3.618 gets up in the 11s. 4.618 gets up to the 13s. So, but it also is going to depend on what happens with the market as a whole. Does regulation change globally? Do ETFs start rolling out in different altcoins? There's a lot of different things at play here. I think $5 to $8 is probably a pretty decent target conservatively for the next cycle top.
Yeah, we'll see. And again, like I said, a lot of people are going to draw this line. Don't take it to the bank or anything. Don't say, oh, you drew the line. You said it was going to go there. But if it hits that, I wouldn't be that surprised if it did hit it. Now, there could be some other ways to draw out a price prediction. This price prediction, I'll go ahead and show you a little TA action here. This price prediction, I forget who came up with this. This works for Bitcoin to predict the next top here. And so you come in and you kind of catch some bottoms, and then it will predict your next top. And I'll be damned if that doesn't look, it comes in a little bit more bearish for a $6 top there. So this is a metric. I would have to, stretch it out a little bit more, get those lines touching a little bit better. But that's another metric people use. They catch the bottoms of a previous bull run to predict the next top. So keep an eye out on that. How many projects can break $50 billion market cap? Well, for reference, Solana, $250 hit $70 billion. So which can hit Solana of last cycle? How many did we do last cycle? If I had to guess, 5, 10, 20? Maybe 20. I would say 20. Did XRP community get hoodwinked? Despite case win, it's not moving. Others have 2, 3, 5x already. Other coins don't have a large amount of XRP hitting the monthly market. I know it's for ODL, and it's there's a wallet that absorbs 90% of it most of the time. XRP dumps about 1 billion tokens every month. 90% are absorbed, so it's selling 100 million tokens every month. That's a lot of sell pressure, so I think that's part of it. That being said, it's probably going to need good news to have a 2x, 3x. Me and Kelly, did you watch me and Drew's conversation about XRP?
Yes.
I'm not even going to say anything else. Go watch our video. Did you disagree with anything in there? Or?
No, I mean, I think you did a good job of. Everybody wants an exact answer that benefits your holdings, and if you don't like, if the thing doesn't make you feel like your holdings right now are going to moon, a lot of viewers say, I don't like this. In reality, we got to look at things with a broader array of information. I think you guys had a great discussion around it, talking about some of the challenges, but also some of the benefits, because you're looking at the broad range of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I did want to make that line a little bit better, hitting that point, hitting that candle body. Are
you on log or
no, I took it off, and yeah, that gives us, it's still around, it's closer to $7 now. So $7, $8, a lot of sell pressure. I think it can hit 9. I'd be surprised if Cardano breaks 10 though. Let's see. Cat with a hat. I did not get Cat a hat for Christmas. Cardano bought me a house in 2018. Can't wait for 2025. Huge gains. ETH, got me a house down payment in 2021. Very thankful for it. So I'm hoping Cardano, hey, buys me a new porch. That's what I'm hoping for.
A Porsche?
A Porsche.
A Porsche.
No Porsche for me. No Porsche for me. I'm too tall. I would look silly getting out of a manlet car. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Let's see. Caspa will flip Ethereum and Solana. Do your own research. I would be surprised, but I think Caspa will outperform. I think it'll gain market cap percentages. Placement rank. Kelly, any final thoughts here?
No, I just love you guys. Thank you. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday wherever you're at. And, remember to step out of the charts so you can step back in with a fresh mind. Go sign up, trade with us on Blofin. The link's down below in the description, and come check us out at BitLab Academy. We're going live here probably in about 3 minutes as soon as we're done.
Yeah, sorry, Kelly, we went long for you.
No, it's okay. We're going to be breaking down a bunch of TA, talking about what's going on with the markets and how we trade this range. Is it going to pump? Is it going to dump? What do you think?
And he's going to break down my $2 profit trade and say, hey, where did you get it wrong? Where did you get it right? All right, that's all we have, folks. Thanks for joining us on this post-holiday episode. We'll see you folks in the lab in minutes.
Hit that like button.
Hit that like button.